Welcome back. Now, I'm still with Reform UK's excellent Ben Habib. Welcome back, Ben. Now, we've been talking about the various mad legal restraints that preclude Britain from doing what it wants to do with residents of this country that we don't think should be here. For example, the dangerous terrorists who've all done time in prison that I just listed to you. We're not allowed to deport them because the European Court of Human Rights says it would abuse their human rights to deport them. If they send me back to Somalia, I'll be tried for war crimes. Well, frankly, I don't really care. I don't know why we as a nation care. I'll be treated badly if you send me back to Algeria. Don't care. Why are we bothering? Why do we bother protecting these people when we don't protect our own people? Ben, this one will get you going. I think an Indian-born paedophile who was jailed, got 14 months for distributing child sex abuse images, a bit like Hugh Edwards the other day. At least he went to jail. We don't send most of our paedophiles to jail, but this guy did go to jail for 14 months. But guess what? We can't deport him. When he finished his sentence, we wanted to deport him back to his native India, or just to kick him the hell out of the country, frankly. But he's got a sexual harm prevention order. He's been required to sign the sex offenders register for 10 years, but he can live here happily ever after, because if we deported him, a British court, an immigration court, has decided that would be too harsh on his children. What about the children he abused? What about prioritising their welfare and not his kids' welfare? Again, this is just insanity, isn't it?
It is. This man has and probably will continue to assault British society. So why is it that our society's interests, the collective interests of lots of different individuals, should be sacrificed in order for this guy and his ostensible children to have, their human rights preserved? Why should our human rights be sacrificed in preference to his? It makes no sense. At no level does this make any sense. We've got to start protecting the British people collectively. The democratic will of the British people, the democratic requirement of our government, and the democratic will of the British people is to protect and be protected. And that's what needs to happen. And we've got to get off this bandwagon of protecting individuals, if necessary, at the expense of the majority. The majority is nothing other than a collection of individuals as well. But the majority are continually having their interest trounced. Yeah. It's got to stop. The European Court of Human Rights is out of control. Our government is out of control. The democratic deficit in this country is vast. It's vast. I mean, I can go on if you like. I can go on for ages. But, it's evidence, Kevin, in the turnout at elections. Mm-hmm. I'm going to digress slightly, but it's on point. 72% turnout in the referendum, huge turnout to leave the EU. Boris Johnson got a 67% turnout in his general election, down from 72%. In the last general election, the turnout was 59%. Yeah. Why do you think the majority of British people now the increasing numbers of British people are now not voting? It's because they've lost faith in our democracy. They've lost faith in our democracy because our democracy isn't protecting them. And our democracy won't protect them if we keep taking the knee to courts like the European Court of Human Rights and ideologies like trans ideologies, celebrating and promoting minority ethnic views over and above and to the detriment of the United Kingdom. Yeah, everywhere you look, it's minorities who are being given preference over the majority. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to put this out to the audience as well. This is an Indian-born immigrant. He's lived here for years. He's got 2 kids. I feel very sorry for his children, by the way, that they should end up with a scumbag monster for a father. But this guy is a paedophile. He did 14 months in jail for distributing vile child sex images. And he is now allowed to stay. And by the way, Ben, so he's been allowed to stay. To be fair, the Home Office are continuing their appeals. So the Home Office tried to kick him out when he finished his sentence. A British immigration court said, no, you can't do that. Too harsh on his children. As I say, what about the children he abused? Why don't we think about them? I'm sorry for his kids, but I think the kids he abused are more important than his own kids in this respect. And guess what, Ben? Also, this guy is referred to only as HS because for some reason our legal system has decided to grant him lifelong anonymity.